All right, well, welcome back. I'm using this new contraption. I've got my hand right in front of me. Problem is I need to lift it up to be able to see it because otherwise the phone is blocking it. I did test it out with doing a removal process and it seemed to work well, but I need to try to adjust this so that it's looking down on what I'm doing without blocking me from being able to see what I'm doing. No, well, that didn't make it any better. And also the problem that I had with the other video I did is that obviously I'm moving, so the camera's moving, so I don't know how much shake there's going to be. And doing this intentionally, by the way. But I have to try to get this set up in a way that, because I've got my computer and everything in front of me and I'm watching a movie and I can't have that in the background. So if I tilt it up in such a way, hold on, I have to pause. If I tilt it up in such a way so that I can see my hand and you can see my hand, then you can potentially see the TV, the computer in the background also. We're going to roll with it because I wanted to set up my secondary camera up here, which is where I usually have it. But the camera in the phone isn't as good as this one. The color keeps auto adjusting in an unpleasant way. Turn with me, will you? I wish you would. Let's get some stuff for our manicure. I did a sample nail somewhere of what I want to do. I don't know if this is going to work out, guys. I might have to switch back to the other camera. This is what I want to do. It's got an ombre of the chrome powder from copper to mirror with an ombre of brown to nude behind it, and then an accent of brown lines on top. The vision was a lot better in my head, I think, than in practice. I still want to do the chrome and then brown and nude using this beautiful color from Tiny, TYY027. And then the nude will be from the nail, FS160. So I'm going to start off with, how did I do it on the nail? On the sample nail, I just did an ombre from the brown to the clear. That's the base of the nail. And then I did the ombre of the brown on top, the nude on top of it. Yeah, I'm gonna need switches because I can't see what I'm doing. Hold on. Okay, I want to try recording in cinematic mode. I don't know how well this is going to work out. It seems to be going in and out of focus when I'm testing it, but I guess nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm trying to get my videos a little bit better in terms of quality without having to change from my phone. I know a lot of people use their phones, but it always seems like the quality of my videos are subpar. So, and I don't want my videos to be like 10 gigabytes worth of data before it even gets edited. I have no idea how much space cinematic takes up. But anyway, I'm going to do one coat of nude before I go in with the ombreing. And yeah, I already took it off cinematic mode because I can't pause the recording, I have to stop it and create a new clip, which I don't want to do. And that tells me alone that it's going to be very large file formats. So we're just going to keep doing it the way I've always been doing it. And I hope you don't mind. But so I'm going to do one coat of the nude. Then I'm going to go in an ombre brown from the tip down, and then ombre the nude from the cuticle line up. My nails are getting exceedingly long. They are borderline too long, but I think I'm going to push it one more week until I trim them down. My last manicure I unexpectedly kept for over 2 weeks. I usually don't do that. I film new videos every week with new manicures, but I absolutely loved it and didn't want to take it off, so I didn't. So I do ombre a lot on this channel, especially of late. If you've watched my other videos, I thank you. If you are new to this channel, welcome. I don't know if you necessarily need to have an ombre brush, but if you're doing liquid ombre, it definitely helps versus using a flat brush or a liner brush, just because the bristles are a lot thinner and they're specifically made for ombreing. So what you want to do is you want to take your ombre brush and just like dab at it. Don't want to do broad, crazy strokes. You don't want to drag it all over the place. Just want to thin it out and pull it down. And blend it in with the coat underneath. Now, obviously, the coat underneath is cured. There's still a little bit of a tacky layer underneath. Clean off your brush as necessary. But you're basically just thinning it out and feathering it down the nail until you can barely perceive like you don't want to see any lines. So that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and flash cure that. You do want to be careful though, because since this is a syrup gel, it can pool and you can notice, oh, what did I get on my nail? It can pool around the edges and you'll notice it's darker in areas and thinner in others. So now we're just going to continue on and do the same with the other nails for the first coat. You can bring the ombre down as far as you want. Usually I do it just at the tip, but this one I want it to be predominantly brown. Took me so long to figure out how to do an ombre when I first got started, because I've watched these other channels where the person would be taking the brush and like slapping at it across the nail, trying to get it to blend out, doing wet on wet. And it just was impossible to get it to work properly. And then I don't know why it suddenly just clicked, but it did. If your brush is getting caked up and dry cleaning it doesn't work, just go ahead and drop it in a little bit of acetone, wipe it off, and then feather out the bristles again. And that'll help you keep going. All right, now we're going on to the second coat, which we're going to bring slightly further up because we want it darker at the tip. And then we're just going to do the same thing as before.
every day?
I am off on Sundays and I'm in at noon on Mondays.
Did you do next gen?
Mm-hmm.
And pedicure?
Yes.
Okay.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. And what is your hours?
10 to 6:30 most days. 12 to 6:30 Mondays and 12 to 8 on Thursdays.
They have to do the whole day. Oh my God.
Just because it's easier, heading into the weekend if someone wants to come after work, to have late hours one day.
They just go like that.
Yeah.
Why not for a week? So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Put a little too much on this nail. Okay, now this next step isn't something that you necessarily have to do, and generally speaking, I don't. But I do want a little bit more opacity at the base of the nail, and could have done this to start off with, but I want to try to blend in the gradation a little bit more. So I'm going to go in with a little bit more of our nude at the base, and then do the reverse of feathering it up the nail, but I'm only going to do one coat. All right, going into the chroming stage of things, you need a no wipe top coat and your chrome of choice. I am ombreing a mirror chrome that I got off of Amazon with a Reposo copper chrome. So we're going to start off with our no wipe top coat, and we're going to do the whole nail and flash cure for 25 seconds. Now when you're flash curing, you want to go at half the time of what your full cure time is. So with Madame Glam, it's 60 seconds in a UV light, 2 minutes in a LED light. So we're going to go at 25 to 30 seconds. Remember that your chrome is going to pick up all imperfections on the nail. So you want to make sure you don't wrap the nail, don't, go around the edges and cap it, but you want to make sure that your top coat is even and as smooth as possible. I'm going to need to refill this bottle. Okay, so you can use various different implements. You can use your finger, although if you have oily skin, I wouldn't advise it because you'll get oil on your nails. You can use a milk sponge or a makeup sponge, that's what this is. You can use a eyeshadow applicator or a silicone tool. I tend to go back and forth between various different tools, whatever. I usually start off with a tool and then switch to my finger. So we're gonna start off with the eyeshadow applicator with the mirror chrome and go at the base of the nail. And kind of just work our way up towards the tip. And then once you get about 3/4 of the way up or 2/3 of the way up, I mean, you can certainly just finish with the mirror chrome, that's up to you. I'm going to switch to the copper chrome. And kind of just feather it together. And then you can go in with your milk sponge. And wipe off excess. I'm going to go back in because I took some off by accident. I don't know why that happened. All right, and then that's what we have so far. I want to go in with a little bit more of the mirror chrome down around the middle of the nail. It will receive a saturation point where it's not going to really deposit any more pigment. And then I'm going to go in and clean up around the cuticles a little bit. And move on to my other nails. I'm going to move this out of the way because it keeps spinning and it's aggravating me. Okay, we've got our chrome down. I want to go ahead and file underneath the nail just to remove any chrome that might stop it from capping later when I go ahead and seal it. Make sure you don't file the side walls. You just want to file up underneath the nail. And then I'm going to matte top coat over it so that we can do the design over top. All right, this is the part that I'm more nervous about because I don't want to not like the design at the end, and I've got a bump on the nail now. See if I can file it without filing off chrome. It's the best I'm willing to do at this point. I'm going to go with this darker brown. It's Deja Brew from Ombrè. I'm going to just do some abstract line art around the French line, or what would be the French line, using my 11mm brush. And just try to draw it as thinly as possible. And not mess it up like I just did. All right, when you have it the way you want it, go ahead and cure it. All right, we've got our design finished. Time to base coat and top coat, and then move on to the right hand. I am probably going to take a break in between my left hand and my right hand because I'm hungry. I want to have a snack. It will mean nothing to you because as soon as I finish top coating, I will come back to wrap things up. So it'll be just a blink of an eye for you. All right, everyone, so that's going to do it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any comments or questions as to the products or the techniques that I used in this video, please drop a comment down below. Of course, if you have any other comments or questions or suggestions for upcoming content, please also let me know. Not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing with my next manicure, but when I know, you will know. And gonna finish up with some cuticle oil and ask you to comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you always know when new videos are available. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.